Today, we're diving into an opinion piece that unpacks a really interesting policy shift from New York's Governor Kathy Hochul. It's a story all about taxes, migration, and politics. So let's get right into it. So, right at the center of this whole article is this incredible contrast. I mean, talk about a 180. In 2022, Governor Hochul was basically telling some of her political opponents to pack their bags and head to Florida. Fast forward to 2026, and she's actively asking wealthy New Yorkers who did just that to please come back. The big question is, what on earth happened in between? All right, first up, let's take a closer look at that cliche she made in 2026. Okay, so picture this. The scene is a political summit up in Albany. Governor Hochul is there doing a kind of fireside chat, and it's during this conversation that she says something that really grabbed the attention of the author of the piece we're looking at today. And here it is, the quote that started it all. She was just incredibly direct about it. She said the state's tax base has eroded, and she flat out admitted that she needs high net worth people to come back home to help pay for New York's generous social programs. Pretty blunt stuff. So how did the article we're looking at interpret this? Well, that brings us right to our second section, the core argument. The author of this opinion piece really doesn't pull any punches. They frame the governor's plea as a moment of, well, panic. They call it a classic socialism scenario, arguing that the state is, in their words, starting to run out of other people's money to pay for everything. To really hammer this point home, the author brings in this very famous quote from the former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. This is really the lens, this central idea, through which the entire article analyzes what Governor Hochul said in the financial spot New York finds itself in. But the article doesn't just stick to political theory. It also points to some pretty specific numbers and migration data to try and back up its claims. And this is where the argument shifts from ideas to cold, hard cash. The article brings up a study suggesting that a high-income New Yorker could save something like $200,000 a year in taxes just by moving to a state with no income tax like Florida. I mean, for a lot of people, that's an absolutely life-changing amount of money. And it seems like that huge financial incentive is showing up in the migration numbers. The article points to a consistent trend in the data. New York is losing people, and Florida is gaining them. To the author, this suggests that a whole lot of people are, in fact, following the money, right down south. Now, whenever we break down an analysis like this, it's always important to know where it's coming from. So, this article we've been walking through was published by a site called Shasta Unfiltered. Their tagline, just for context, is serving the North State with honest news and entertainment. Knowing that helps frame the perspective we've been hearing. Okay, so after all of that, what's the big takeaway from this piece? Let's get to our final section. The author wraps everything up by calling this whole episode a cautionary tale. Their final point is that what's happening in New York should be a warning about the consequences of policies that, in their view, drive the tax base away and, ironically, end up threatening the very social programs they were designed to fund. And this really leaves us with a huge modern-day dilemma, right? This opinion piece clearly has its own answer, but the challenge is real for every single state. When your biggest taxpayers can literally just pack up and leave, how do you balance funding your society without pushing the funders out the door? It's a tough question with no easy answers.